Hi students. Last time we talked, we were talking about building the form for the epoxy table. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I spared you all the time of just watching me put tape out. But what I'd like to do is just kind of go over this with you. So basically it's a tub, okay? So I know that the surface that we have is melamine and typically things don't stick to it, but it's really, really good to use like a packing tape because it's super slick and epoxy doesn't stick to it, okay? Now, some people will say use a like a Tyvek, the house wrap tape, but the only thing is it's like $35 a roll and packing tape is like $2. So that's why I use that. But I want to bring you over here to show you exactly how I did this, and that way it kind of clears up any mystery if there is any. So what I did was is I put packing tape, I wrapped around one end and then brought it all the way down, up and over the other side. And I did this and I make sure I overlap it by about 25% per piece going down, okay? Then I make sure I go from the edge in here, then up. And I make sure it's nice and tight. And one thing I found was a super great tool is the cabinet scraper, because I could hold it down as I went down and then over and put it down, holding the tape flat. Sorry, kind of stuttering there. And also, I noticed we've done these multiple times with students in here. After we do this, we get a piece in here in the corner. We also do the corners here, and then just in case, what we'll do is we wrap the bottom as well. Now, on the bottom side, we go around, down, and there. So this seam right here is completely covered, and same thing along the edge here to allow for no dripping to come out or anything like that. So we wrap this whole thing really, really thoroughly with several layers of tape. That way it'll prevent any type of leaking of the epoxy resin when we go ahead and put the parts in. So like the next thing for us to do is go ahead and position our pieces in here and then start filling with epoxy. Now, it's important that you find out which epoxy is best for the application you're doing. Now, not all epoxies are the same. Now, they do make some epoxies that can be just one single pour, which is fantastic, but then you have to worry about bubbles. There's gives and takes to both methods. Now, the epoxy that we're gonna be using, we can only put in a certain amount of layer. The thickness at a time is 3/8 of an inch. And then we have to wait 6 hours, and then we don't want to wait any more than that. And then put another coat in 3/8 thick. So what happens typically is I'll do this on a weekend with a student where we'll start like basically in the morning when you come in. At the end of the day, the school day, we'll typically do it then, 6 hours later. And like I said, we'll do it on a weekend. And then usually I have you come up with your parent, and I'll meet you here at midnight, pour another one at midnight, and then 6 a.m., you bring your parent with you, come in, pour another one, then I'll see you at noon, and then 6 p.m., and I'll see you at midnight. And typically by then, we've built up enough thickness, because typically these are anywhere from 2 inches to 2.5 inches, depending on how thick the slab pieces are that you bought, okay? So we have to go ahead and pour every 6 hours as far as it goes. With the epoxy resin that we purchase, it's relatively inexpensive compared to other ones. So that's why we use it, because some of the other brands, yes, you can do it in a single pour, but typically they're about 40% more per gallon as far as cost. So yeah, a little bit of inconvenience of coming in and out of school on the weekend or whatnot. I think it's worth the money that you save, okay? So in our next video, you're gonna see the pieces being positioned, and then I'll have this set up on a pair of sawhorses, and I'll make sure this is completely level, because if it's tipping one way or the other, we're not gonna end up with the product that we want, all right? So this is gonna be the epoxy resin table. Now remember, this size of this form is not gonna be the actual final size. Most likely we'll have to cut off just a little bit off either side Plus we're going to router probably a round over or a chamfer depending on what looks best, and after our discussion about this. So until next time, I'm Mr. C in the shop, and don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and in the comments please put in there what you learned in this video, and I can count that as an entry and I'll put it in the hat. Alright, thanks, bye.